You are Locked On Syracuse, your daily podcast on the Syracuse Orange. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Folks, on this segment, we are going to give you guys the 2025 recruiting class outlook for Syracuse football, and we are going to use 247 Sports, okay? Because there's so many recruiting rankings out there. Simplify it to one. We're going to use 247 Sports. I don't know which site has the best recruiting class for Syracuse. I just picked one out of a hat. I said 247 Sports. So that's the one we're going to use, okay? At the time of this recording, and keep in mind, things can change as more prospects sign elsewhere, or maybe Syracuse lands someone unforeseen. I'm recording this Wednesday, December 4th at 7:15 p.m. Eastern. Maybe Syracuse does get someone between now and the time I post this. But at the time of this recording, Syracuse football has the 36th ranked recruiting class in the country. Pretty solid. That is actually, I believe, the same spot they were in last season. Pretty good right there. Syracuse ranks 7th in the ACC in recruiting. That's a spot up from last year. Bravo. 7th out of 17. That's not bad. That is not bad. And what Fran Brown has done with Syracuse football recruiting, I have the numbers to back it up for you. He has taken Syracuse from a basement dweller of recruiting, just absolutely uninspiring. Remember when signing day was an afterthought for Syracuse football? I mean, nobody cared about it. I was on campus the last few years. Nobody cared about signing day until last year. Nobody. Meant nothing. What are we going to get? Who are we in the running for? Nobody. We're going to have the worst recruiting class in the ACC? Yes, we are. That's how it used to be. And Fran Brown has taken that and elevated it to, all right, now we're upper half of the ACC. We are upper half. Last year, we were 8th in the ACC out of 17 teams. This year, we're 7th in the ACC out of 17 teams. The 5 seasons before Fran Brown, here's where they ranked in the ACC in recruiting. You ready for it? 2023, dead last. I was not making it up. They were dead last in 2023 in recruiting on 247 Sports. 2022, they were 3rd last. Hip, hip, hooray. 2021, 2nd last. 2020, bottom 5. 2019, they were 8th. That was the year after Syracuse football went 10-3. 8th out of then it was 14 teams, is still bottom half. So in Fran Brown's first 2 seasons, both of them, he has already made Syracuse an upper half ACC team in recruiting. And we've already seen in 1 year that, hey, having athletes matters. You need good players. You can have Vince Lombardi as your head coach, but if you don't give him the right ingredients, it ain't going to matter. So Fran Brown has done a nice job with recruiting. There is that next tier, which I talked about in the last segment, but he's done an excellent job. And I think he deserves a lot of props. He is certainly fulfilling his promise and his potential as the number 1 recruiter in the nation. The headliner of the class is someone who I mentioned in the last segment, is Demetres Samuel Jr., a 4-star safety, consensus 4-star safety, one of the better all-time recruits on 247 Sports in Syracuse history. He's one of the better ones. I believe he's in the top 10. That's a big-time get for Syracuse that he signed on the dotted line today. My honest opinion was they got him to flip back to Syracuse in September or October. His recruiting story is a little bit weird. They got him to flip back from Florida. And my thought in that moment was, oh, this ain't over. This is not over. Well, I was wrong. I was happily wrong. It turned out to be over. Demetres Samuel Jr., the headliner of the class, a consensus 4-star safety, he signed today. As expected, by the way, it was tweeted out yesterday or the day before that he was going to sign with us. Thank goodness. Welcome to Syracuse, Demetres Samuel Jr. I think, honestly, the best part of the class, I mean, I talked about the New York domination to start, is that Syracuse football leads the nation with 34 commits. 34 of them. Now, Samuel really is the only blue chipper. He's the one who really stands out. Everyone else is a 3-star recruit. However, 3-star recruits can hit too, by the way. They can hit. They're allowed to be good football players. And what I'm noticing, especially in this recruiting class, Fran Brown is playing the quantity game. He's playing the quantity game. Because, well, it's hard to land some big-time recruits. I mean, let's be real. NIL is a real thing, guys. It's a real thing. And Syracuse football, I'm sure they got a decent budget, but some of these other schools, they can offer these kids a whole lot of money. I mean, Underwood at Michigan. Oh, boy. So Fran Brown's playing the quantity game. 34 commits. Someone's got to be good. It's just simple math. Sure, would you want more 4-star players, 5-star players? Yeah, I get it. That's the next step in recruiting, and hopefully that can be achieved in 2026. But by getting 34 players, it increases the odds that some of them are going to be good, that some of them are going to hit, that some of them will be successful. Not all of them will. Some of them are going to flop. Some of them are going to be okay. And some of them are going to be home runs. But by getting 34 commits, you are maximizing your odds of landing home runs. And it's a big reason why Syracuse football has a pretty solid recruiting class in the nation, which I said is 36th overall. Because you got 34 players to want to play for you. Did you get a bunch of 4 and 5 stars? No. But you increased your odds of hitting home runs with your 3-star players. Syracuse football in the past, they would take 20 players, let's say, in a recruiting class. 20 of them would be 3 stars. That's where you get a bottom-of-the-barrel ACC recruiting team. Now you increase it to 34. Okay. Even more odds that someone's going to be good. That's all it means. So overall, I think Syracuse football did an excellent job on signing day. To summarize everything, everyone that they were supposed to sign, they did sign. They flipped a receiver from Troy in the morning. They lead the nation with 34 players. They have the 36th overall class in the country. They are upper half in the ACC. They dominated the state of New York. Yeah, the major recruits that they were going after went elsewhere, but that's the next step. And hopefully they can achieve that in 2026. But overall, a very nice signing day for Syracuse football. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Please let me know. Are you happy with Fran Brown in this 2025 recruiting class? And where do you think that Syracuse can improve going forward?